What's going on, my friends? Eddie Walker here. Today, I wanted to talk about the creative process of music production. And the thing that kind of inspired this video was seeing all the Black Friday sales for audio gear and plugins and all the different things that you see on Black Friday. I thought about at what point do you have enough? At what point do you feel like, as a music producer and even other creatives, I think this applies to you too, at what point do you make the decision to maybe add more gear or add more tools to help you do what you do? And at what point is that kind of limiting your creative thought and your creative process? I think there's something to be said about having the limitations of, I'm only working in this one DAW, or I'm only working on this one machine, and whatever I get out of that, that's what I'll get. I think there is a lot of times where we get caught up in, the newest thing, especially with social media. I think that when you see all this gear being pushed on social media, if you as a creative don't know who you are and what you bring to the table, you could see all this flashy gear and think, this is the thing that's gonna make me the person as a creative who I am. And to that I say, you're already that person. As a matter of fact, there are things in the creative process that if you're creating things in a limited environment, I think that shows who you really are as a creator, as a music producer. Now, not to say that new gear is not inspiring. I know that there are certain things that I can make on one piece of gear that I can't make on another. There's a workflow thing from using maybe a drum machine over a keyboard and vice versa. There are just things that unlock creativity with new gear. With that being said, you have to kind of figure that out for yourself. Is this something that's actually going to help me get better, or is this just something for a moment? I think if you use those times where you're not so dependent on, if I get this new piece of gear or if I get this new thing, I'll be able to create better. Here's the downside with getting something new. That's another thing that you have to learn. I'm all for learning, but the time spent on adding gear that we didn't necessarily need, there's less time of us actually creating something that people can partake in. Because at the end of the day, I feel like any creativity that we do have and that we do possess, and I believe it's not all for us. So when is a good time to get new gear? When is a good time to, hey, I want to upgrade? Hey, I want to maybe change things up. I think if you're at a point where the gear you have, you can operate it and use it in such a way that it doesn't stop the creative process, adding something else to that, I think that's a good time to get new gear. Obviously, if you have gear that breaks, I think it's time to get new gear, especially if you're putting time and energy and effort into using this gear and you're actively creating on it. And I think there's leeway there to go and get new gear. Again, this is your life, so do whatever it is you want to do. This is just one man's opinion. I know for myself, I have pieces of gear that definitely were cool to have, and they're cool pieces of gear. But when I look at the workflow process, a lot of times in my DAW, Logic Pro, just in case you didn't know, just about everything that I want to be able to do, Logic Pro is able to do. Any added gear that I have is, to be honest, a luxury. I'm grateful for the gear that I have, but when I think about the difference between staying on one piece of gear or staying on one program and doing what I need to do, as opposed to, okay, I'm going to do something on this. I'm going to do something on this piece of gear for this process. And then I'm going to do something on this piece of gear for a different process. Then I'm going to come to a DAW and then put all that together. At a certain point, it's a turnoff to the process of creating. No matter how passionate we are about doing something, I think there is an element of convenience that kind of keeps us in it, not taking away from the idea of diligence and discipline. Think about this. Why do we make templates? We make templates because this is a part of our regular process that we don't want to have to keep doing. Why? Because it takes away from the creative process, the setting things up and getting things organized. If we know we're going to do things a certain way every single time, it's more of the mundane type parts of the process, then why don't we make it more convenient to start that process by making templates? That same frame of thought is what I think about when you're talking about being creative and being creative in one space and being creative on one piece of gear or one DAW. Now, for me, this isn't fully practiced. This is just a theory, but for you, the producer, the creative, we shouldn't have any limitations on what we're able to do or need a specific thing to make our creative ideas come to life. I think the identity of a creator and being a creative is the idea of having vision. Sometimes the things that we have a vision for creatively are not going to be as apparent to everyone else. And you're going to be able to see things inside of your DAW, inside of that gear, that no one else is able to see. All this being said, if you want to buy the gear, buy the gear. It's your prerogative. But I want us to be conscious of not breaking the creative flow. I think when we stay in a single lane creatively, I think that's when we create frequently and we create things that are more effective and impactful. All right, guys, that's it for me. But I just want to thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm here to talk about music production. I'm here to talk about the creative process. As always, stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep on creating. We'll see you guys next time.